let's take a look at what Skip Bayless has to say about Dak Prescott's mental strength.
Understand that he plays quarterback. I think the thing is that you have to understand. I understand that he plays quarterback. He's the face of a franchise. But at the end of the day, I'll take all that away. He's still human. And there's a human element of this. And sometimes people think because we play this sport, because we're good at a sport, we don't have feelings, we don't have emotions. He's human. He's human. And think about this. It got so bad, his brother was dealing with something that he took his life. I would rather Dak share. I mean, because we've seen, we've seen athletes take their lives, Skip, because they're dealing with things. And because they didn't feel or they felt, and maybe they felt the same way what you're feeling right now. Man, I can't share this. I can't share this. I can't deal with this. I don't want anyone to know what I'm going through.
Talking about, you can share it internally. You can go see a psychiatrist if you need to.
Yeah, share it internally. That makes sense.
Can get all kinds of counseling. Right. You can share it with some of your closest teammates. Call up Zeke. Let's go sit and talk it through. I need to let you know what I was feeling. But we all went through COVID, some sort of depression.
But we handle things differently, Skip. Look, I'll give you a prime example. Okay, you can take boiling water. And now boiling water will harden the egg. It will soften the potato.
Okay, I'm not... Okay, all right, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. We'll see where this goes.
Water, same thing. Boiling. Harden the egg, soften the potato.
Water, same thing. Boiling.
So you can't say because one way somebody handled it one way, that's the right way. Someone handled it the other way, that's the wrong way. That's the wrong way to look at it.
Just don't make me question whether you're made of the right stuff to stand up to that job, because that's a hard job he's got.
For me, Skip, he got there. You don't get to where he got without being... First of all, you don't get to where he got without being tough. And having to
This is crazy of a take for Skip Bayless, especially in 2020. I mean, he's basically saying because Dak was depressed and, got some therapy or whatever and battled anxiety and all this other stuff in the offseason, that he's weak or that he's not fit to play quarterback. This is just, this is like that toxic, where it's not like toxic masculinity. It's more just toxic on the sense of like putting football on such a pedestal, right? Like acting like the quarterback of a football team has to be made up of iron, has to have no emotion, has to have a steel will. Like at the end of the day, these guys are playing a children's game. At the end of the day, he's playing football. He's not the president of the United States. I know he's the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. I know he's the nation's team, as Skip would say. But you don't have to be a Spartan in 300 to play football. I do agree that playing quarterback is a really difficult position, and playing quarterback, you are looked as the leader and the all that stuff. But if mental health issues in 2020 is going to make anyone look at you negatively, is crazy, no pun intended. Unless he has schizophrenia or bipolar disorder or something that like is actually where you could question like, well, that could affect your job. That could affect your ability to do your job. If it's unchecked and if it's out of control, then of course, stuff like that. But depression, anxiety, everybody feels that. Everybody goes through it, especially nowadays where mental health is at our mental health issues are at an all-time high because of COVID, because of just the landscape of the United States or the world, really, because of anything. And not to mention, Dak lost his brother. His brother killed himself. So, of course he had a hard off season. Of course he was depressed. Of course he had anxiety. That's fine. And the fact that he's opening up about it is, I think, pretty strong, pretty transparent. That's what I would want in my quarterback or my leader or my president or my boss or whatever. If he's an alcoholic. If he's an alcoholic and he goes to rehab and gets help, and he says, hey, man, I was an alcoholic. I went to rehab and got help. No one's questioning that. Tiger Woods had his issues. How many people did you hear question Tiger Woods' mental health? Like, oh, well, Tiger Woods was addicted to this. Tiger Woods did this. Tiger Woods was arrested doing this. Maybe he's mentally not able to be a winner. Well, of course he is. He's where he's at. Like Shannon said, Dak Prescott's the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. He didn't all of a sudden all of a sudden he's mentally a different person. I think it's pretty damn strong to be in the position that Dak's in and to be able to say, yeah, I got help. Or, yeah, I was in a bad spot. Yeah, it got pretty ugly. I mean, it's just crazy that Skip or anybody takes football that seriously where he's basically saying that Dak, he's questioning if Dak can be the quarterback of his favorite team because Dak had depression or anxiety. This is blown up today, and Skip has been getting skewered on social media for obviously a terrible take in general and an even worse take in 2020.
Of the football team. You're commanding a lot of young men and some older men, and they're all looking to you to be their CEO, to be in charge of the football team. Because of all that, I don't have sympathy for him going public with, I got depressed. I suffered depression early in COVID to the point that I couldn't even go work out. Look, he's the quarterback of America's team. And you know and I know, this sport that you play, it is dog eat dog. It is no compassion, no quarter given on the football field.
I don't think he's making this point. I think he's close to making the point, but I will admit, or I will agree, that I don't think he's going to receive any extra compassion. Like, I don't think that his team or his opponents or the league or whoever are going to offer him extra compassion because he admitted this. I don't think he's even looking for that. But there's a big difference between not giving someone some compassion. You know, would an opponent tell Dak, say something disparaging about Dak's mental health issue? Sure. That stuff happens on the field. But for Skip to say that he's questioning Dak's mental aptitude because he felt depressed or felt anxious or whatever, I just don't get it. I don't understand where Skip's coming from here. He's pretty much saying that anybody with a hole in their mental strength or whatever, anybody with a that feels depressed or any of these things, they're not made up of the right stuff to play quarterback in the NFL, which obviously is not true because of the people who have played in the NFL. I mean, you look at people who have been alcoholics, people who have had drug issues, who have been addicted to pills, who have had scandals, who have battled suicide, whatever, and plenty of those people had Hall of Fame careers in the NFL. So not only is what Skip's saying incredibly demeaning and just baseless, but he also has data points proving the opposite. He has obvious examples across multiple sports. It's just a tough thing to throw out there.
If you reveal publicly any little weakness, it can affect your team's ability to believe in you in the toughest spot.
That is crazy. I mean, that's his main thing. His main thing is not that there shouldn't be compassion or there shouldn't be whatever for Dak. His main thing is that his teammates are going to look at him as being weak because he admitted he was depressed. That's so wild to me. If the boss of a company came out and said, hey, I was battling some pretty serious depression, couldn't go work out, I was just feeling down, I went and got some counseling, went and talked to a therapist, feeling okay now, but man, I was in a pretty dark spot. I don't think any employees would be like, man, this guy is pathetic. This guy is soft. I hope that's not the case. I hope that isn't the case. And I've had my fair share of mental health issues as far as anxiety, OCD, a lot of stuff like that, borderline depression, I guess at times, who knows. And I've told people like close to me about issues, and I sure hope they don't think that he's acting like he's Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind or something. I mean, I don't understand. It's hard for me to imagine Skip has never dealt with anxiety, depression, whatever, and he can't just kind of like relate of what Dak's going through. And it's not like Dak is crippled by it. I mean, I don't think Dak's saying that I can't move, I can't do anything, I can't exist. I think Dak was just saying I was kind of bummed out. I was kind of sad. My effing brother died. Let him be sad. I mean, if someone's brother commits suicide, I don't think it's crazy for them to feel depressed or for them to feel sad or for them to feel any of those things. it's just such a disappointing take in 2020. You know, I honestly think that mental health in 2020 is one of the most serious issues that I think people should go to a psychiatrist like people go to a dentist. People make 6-month checkups for their teeth. They make, you know, chiropractor checkups. They go to the doctor, but they don't go to the psychiatrist. They don't take care of their brain. And especially now with COVID and all this stuff that's just adding on layers and just doing all that stuff, it's just such it's such an old stigma. I mean, this is right there with the 1960, 1970 like analytic. You know, those people who are like, oh, those analytics, those numbers, those stats, those data points. They don't know what they're talking about. They never played the game. It's like, that's a pretty dumb take, you know, but we got past that pretty quick. This is right up there with that. This is right up there with like, oh, put skirts on them. This is football. They got to be tough. Like, I feel like I'm watching the Junction Boys with Skip right now. I mean, what a ridiculous take. These teams, these huge corporations, these people in major pressure positions, they should be seeing a psychiatrist or a therapist or whatever routinely. The president of the United States, whether it's Trump or whoever else, should be seeing a therapist or a psychiatrist routinely. These ultra pressure packed positions, that's even more of a reason. That's even more of a reason to go see help or seek help. And admitting you were having trouble, I think, is stronger than anything else. I think admitting it, as Dak has done, is way stronger than withholding it, or as Skip would say, share it internally. I don't know. This is tough. I mean, people are calling for Skip's head. I don't think he'll get fired. I think he may offer an apology or he may clarify what he was saying. But it's an all-time bad take for sure. It's an all-time bad take. I know Skip's trying to show some hard love. And what's like the smallest part of what Skip is saying makes sense. The whole part about, well, he'll just get tore up in the NFL. Like his opponents and stuff will just use this as weakness. That's one thing. I mean, we saw that in the NBA with Kevin Garnett with Charlie Villanueva, you know, like his skin condition or whatever. That happens. If you give someone an inch, they're going to take a mile as an opponent. But it's not going to happen in his own locker room. I don't think his teammates are going to be like, hey, man. Like, the idea that every single player for the Dallas Cowboys is mentally completely clear, has never felt anxiety, has never been depressed, does not have any of that stuff going on, and they're all going to be like, man, this dude's a complete quack. This dude's falling apart. This dude's soft. This guy's the softest guy I've ever met, while they're chewing on like turkey legs and raw meat. I know tons of people who, when I start talking about like certain things that I go through or whatever, they're like, damn, dude, I do the same thing. And it feels so good to get that off your chest and to realize you're not alone and to realize that other people may do what you do. I think that it'll strengthen the Cowboys because some of the people who Dak's playing with may have those same issues and may feel like, damn, dude, if my quarterback has these issues, if we're going through the same thing off the field, then that makes us even stronger on the field. But Skip, the ultimate tough guy, couldn't even think of that. He just thought, oh, he just equated feeling sad equals sissy, sissies do not equal NFL players. Tough guy, me love workout, me love steak, me love tackling. What a bad take, man. Skip Bayless. There's a lot of times where I'm like, man, where is he coming from? This one makes no sense. And good on Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe, I think, pushed back. And Shannon Sharpe is the guy he was the former player. And he was the Hall of Fame player. So if Shannon Sharpe wants to be a tough guy, if he wants to play the role of Bill Romanowski right here and be some just uber tough guy badass, he could have. But he said, no, I'm going to be the human being where Skip Bayless should definitely not be the tough guy in the situation.